Imagine an ancient civilization that could pinpoint perfect north without a compass. A civilization that bore witness to the cosmic spectacle of the Crowd Nebula supernova ejection and etched its memory into the chronological record of time. Where was this extraordinary civilization? Perhaps your mind drifts to the Peruvian ruins of Machu Picchu or the timeless sands of ancient Egypt. But what if I told you that this marvelous civilization flourished right here in the southwest of North America? In the 11th century, Chaco Canyon was the epicenter of a Native American cultural realm about the size of Indiana. It spread its influence across vast landscapes, connecting a web of communities and sacred sites. It encompassed most of southwestern Colorado, from Chimney Rock National Monument to the east to Fairview House at Mesa Verde National Park and Canyon of the Ancients to the northwest. Of course, there had to be a center of all of this. At the heart of this ancient Mecca lies Pueblo Bonito. Today, I'm going to take you on the journey as we explored the Pueblo ourselves, and we will reveal to you the ancient stories etched within its timeless walls.
The main hike that is kind of known as the favorite area in Chaco Canyon to go, and it is called Pueblo Bonito, and it was pretty much the cultural center during its time frame, so between 850 to about 1120 AD or so. That's kind of where their guesstimates lie, but it was pretty much non-living quarters. There were very few, and most of it was actually done for cultural areas. So it was like a trading hub, ceremonial place, and so that makes it truly unique. So I'm really excited that we get to share this with you guys, and so we will go through it and show you what we see.
Pueblo Bonito is known as the main destination within Chaco Canyon, and that is for a reason. This site is truly amazing. But what does Pueblo Bonito actually mean? Well, according to the research we've done in Spanish, this actually means pretty village, which honestly, I can see why they would have named it that. But were these the actual names that the natives used? Most likely not. In 1849, Lieutenant James Simpson, a member of the Washington expedition, surveyed many areas throughout the Southwest. He described and reported on many ancestral Puebloan and Navajo archaeological sites that are now associated with the Chaco Canyon area. Simpson used the names given to him by a local guide, and these are the names that we use today. So it is possible that these might be the original names given by the people, but we'll never really know. And Chaco Canyon is a real main area for a lot of native tribes. The Navajo Nation is the one who have lived here the longest, and therefore we usually refer to them for the history of the area. Research done by the Park Service suggested that there were different names for the people who lived here thousands of years ago. The people who lived in Chaco were probably a diverse group of people. Anasazi is a Navajo word which translates to ancient ones or ancient enemies. Today, we refer to this group as ancestral Puebloans because many of the descendants of Chaco are all the Puebloan people. However, there are many groups that speak their own languages and have their own names for the ancient people who lived here. Ancestral Puebloans is a general term to account for all of this. Now let's get into some of the more fun facts about Pueblo Bonito. It is postulated that Pueblo Bonito is at the convergence point of a road system, which you can actually see the roads on one of the trails in the park. We'll be covering that in a later video. The roads on the back wall open only out to seem to be connected for roadway activity. Because of the room size, features, and positions, it is believed that this has been specifically seasonally used to house visiting participants in ceremony, trade, and special activities. So where did they figure out all this information? Well, they kind of found out through excavation of the site. Here they have found over 50,000 pieces of turquoise, 10,000 pieces of pottery, 5,000 stone implements, 1,000 bone and wooden objects, including also copper bells. A lot of these objects cannot be found in the area. Most notably is the conch shell. They also excavated and found remains of macaws. Definitely not from New Mexico. Now earlier I hinted about something rather cool. The Chacoan people practiced astronometry, which really means that they tracked movements with stars. If you've noticed from some of the upper views of Pueblo Bonito, you've noticed that it's D-shaped. Well, this wasn't by accident. The D shape was planned from the very beginning, and if you notice, most Chaco Canyon sites are D-shaped. That's because they have made their sites align with different astronomical events. Most notably is the North Wall. The North Wall faces perfectly north, and they built that without the use of a compass. Well, why would they want a perfectly north-facing wall? Believe it or not, it was so that they knew whenever midday was, there would be no shadow, and they knew they only had half that amount of daylight left. That's thinking ahead, isn't it? Also notably, the east-west facing wall. This wall was used to help track solstice events. But even more remarkable is they had an even better system besides just facing their wall a certain direction to track when summer solstice was. Not open to the public anymore, but the famous Sun Dragger site contains 3 naturally upright stone slabs that cast light and shadows onto spirals. This helped the natives mark the winter, summer solstices, the equinoxes, and major and minor lunar events. And the fact that they all did this by observation, no math involved, that's pretty neat. Now while we explore the rest of the outside of Pueblo Bonito before going in, let's talk about something that's kind of weird. During a 1924 dig at Pueblo Bonito, archaeologists excavated a 20-foot long pine log in the west courtyard. The discovery was a sensation, as you can imagine. The likelihood of finding such a tree lying undisturbed for 800 plus years seems unbelievable. So they didn't really know, so they took a look at the tree rings. The tree itself goes back all the way along the birth of tree ring science, supposedly living in downtown Chaco area or the courtyard during the height of its occupancy. Since its discovery, it has been known as the Tree of Life, and until recent years it was believed to have been growing in the plaza itself. However, that wasn't the case. After further analysis, it was important to recognize that the root system that were found was only stubs of the original root of the tree, so not the entire root system itself. Now, you could say that maybe the roots had deteriorated all along and that's why they weren't found here. But it is commonly now believed that lacking the root system combined with the fact that the log was laying flat on top of the plaza surface means that the plaza tree did not grow in the Bonito Plaza itself. So the question here is, was this a lone remnant of a pine forest growing in Chaco Canyon? And it was the only tree that wasn't cut down for some unknown reason? Or did they think that this tree was cool enough that they decided to move it from where those trees are located today? Because you normally don't find a 1,000-year-old piece of wood lying on the ground like that. It's unusual. And of over the 25,000 trees used to build Pueblo Bonito, they didn't grow nearby anyway, but they were transported from the mountain ranges. So what do you think about this tree? It's kind of interesting. Comment down below. So one of the fun things about Chaco Canyon is you get to go inside the ruin itself. And honestly, it's almost like a maze, but there are some little signs to help guide you along the way. But trust me, it's worth exploring and taking your time because there is a room that is amazing coming up. How are you feeling about the tiny holes?
They're great. Makes me feel like a giant. Jeez.
Cheeseburgers.
Get me.
I did.
Look, a fireplace.
Look how tall that is. You know this one at least in here was 3 stories tall.
I'm guessing that's a fireplace too.
I think it is.
Yeah,
I
this
seem to be a
one-
fan of corner hearts down here.
It's a taller.
I know, this is for like when they came a little taller than normal. That's so cool, the corner one up there. So the room up ahead is super special, and you'll see what we mean here in a minute. But could you imagine walking through here and these walls being complete? You wouldn't have barely any sunshine. So it made you wonder how they navigated so well. But this room's gonna give you a quick glimpse of that.
Whoa, so cool. So cool.
I know.
They put concrete there.
No.
Huh?
They replastered the room, but
Oh boy.
The roof is original?
that's what I read online.
Huh. That's what it look like, eh? No wonder they need lights and windows.
Right?
I knew they were main supports, the big ones and the little ones.
Right. It's just so
Yeah,
cool.
and some of the other stuff. It's cool.
In the main room, which is pretty cool.
Why is it called the main room?
This is the one that's got the wood in the ceiling. So this
Oh,
is
so
the
it's
one I
called
read
the
about.
main room?
I don't know what that's officially called, Everett, but this is the one that has the wood in the ceiling, which is super neat.
This room is spectacular. It is one of the intact original rooms open to Chaco Canyon visitors to look at. The ceiling, wood beams, walls, and doorways were built in 1082, over 900 years ago. In spring 2004, the walls of this room were replastered to protect the old original plaster beneath. It's rooms like this that can really transport you back in time to when Chaco was flourishing.
Just finished Pueblo Bonito, and honestly, it did not disappoint. That one room with the original wood that they've replastered with the original plaster underneath it is awesome, and it is totally worth the trip out here to see, because I've never seen anything like it, and it is amazing. I don't until you see it in person, you don't really understand it, and then you finally get how they lived, what the rooms felt like, and it's super neat. And so I highly recommend coming to Pueblo Bonito.